We back, man. After technical difficulties. Yeah,
What's up, buddy? What's up?
man. I can't call it, man. What's that shirt you got on there?
Come on, man. You know what it is.
Tuskegee representing your school. Ain't that cute?
You know what it is. Yeah. You know something. You know a little about that.
Just a little bit, man. I went to the house.
Hey, I got nothing. I got nothing but love for Morehouse. Y'all got good people.
Yeah, man.
Spike Lee,
Bunch of good dudes, man. Yeah, we got a few little favorites.
Martin Luther King, Samuel L.
I
Jackson.
have a dream. Sam Jackson, just the perennial angry black man.
John David Washington.
Hey, yeah, the sports guy.
The sports guy. Hey, man.
Denzel Washington's son. Well, I call him sports guy because he plays he plays that football player in that movie with the series with The Rock. What's that called?
Ballers.
Yeah, Ballers. Yeah.
He got a new movie out now that's pretty good.
What?
It's supposed to be, I think, something in Maria. I saw it. I saw a couple of reviews from it. Man, I think he's a phenomenal actor. So I'm definitely checking for him. I like how he kind of did his thing and kind of I just like the whole renaissance. Hey man, I'm gonna do the football thing. Then I'm gonna transition smoothly into acting.
Right.
So, hey man, listen, you heard it here first. All right, you heard it here first. Because he can pull it off. John David Washington.
Yeah, John David is
the next Black Panther.
He's the next Black Panther, huh?
He could do it. I don't think anybody would be upset with it. I don't think anybody would be upset at that choice.
So the Super Bowl, or Super Bowl. Tommy predicted it. He said Tampa Bay, it was scripted. What you think about that?
You know what, man? I'm not gonna yell conspiracy theory. I said this and then I saw it like a couple days later. I try to stay away from real time like social media and text messages during games and stuff, because a lot of times if I've paused it or whatever, it'll kind of be like, oh, they missed it or whatever. But I saw a lot of people saying like, wow, so the refs are just gonna march them down the field.
So you do think the refs kind of had a hand in Tampa Bay win? Like,
you know what? When Chris Collinsworth said something about it, I was like, not Chris Collinsworth. Boomer Esiason said something about it at halftime. I was like, I'm sure they gave him a little in his ear, like, hey, knock it off, blaming the refs. I think the calls were very human. So but I always thought that Kansas City would kind of kick in gear and make things a little bit more challenging. But
so you said all the calls were human. So you're saying that you don't think any of the calls were kind of slightly unrealistic going towards Tampa Bay's way?
When I saw flags coming in, that's just the way that the NFL has shifted a little bit, where it's more of a pass-oriented league because it's a little bit more fan-friendly. But at the same point in time, I've seen it throughout the season where I'm thinking like, wow, we got 3 or 4 drives that have been extended by long pass interference calls. And then if the guys feel like, I might be blowing that, they'll huddle up and then they'll call defensive holding, which gives you 5 yards and an automatic first down as well. So I said these penalties helped them. And I think that if some of them could have been either way, if it was a no call, it would have been a good no call. Even the bad pass interference call that I saw after the replay, when I saw it in real time, I said, oh, this guy, he fell into him. But then when I saw the replay, they were both falling. And, we can't say the ball was uncatchable because we don't really know. But in real time, it looked like pass interference. With the benefit of replay, it did not. So, and that, you know what? That's where the Avalanche came in. After that, they came down and scored. Then the onslaught was on. There was nothing stopping.
It was pretty much downhill from there.
Yeah, I was like, come on, man. Okay, you can come back at the half. We're still good. We're in good shape.
Yeah, nah. No.
Kansas City stopped them at the 1. So I thought that, okay, cool.
You thought that they were gonna have the momentum at that point. At least I know I did. I thought, hey, maybe it's shifting a bit.
I thought the momentum going into the half, if they could have stopped Tampa Bay from scoring, then it would have been a little different. But offense led the ball down the field 2 minutes, a little under 2 minutes, and scored. So
yeah. That Tampa Bay defense, man, come on, dude. Good night. Can we buy a defense like that?
Who was we?
Since the Bears are spending so much goddamn money on defense, can we buy one?
Wait a minute. You're unhappy with the Bears defense?
I'm sorry. I was talking about the offensive line. I was thinking about that. But yeah, I was talking about Tampa Bay's defense. Their defense was ridiculous.
Well, let me tell you what. Here's the thing. I say that certain things are connected. And here's what's connected. You can't get out of it. You can't not acknowledge this. A good pass rush is going to make every DB look a little better. It's going to make your job a little easier. A good pass rush is going to rush some throws. Good DB can take advantage of some throws that aren't really, your best work. And also, a good offense can help a good defense because your defensive stats look a lot more menacing because you're not on the field as much.
Right.
Like your team stats, your individual stats, you're not going to have as many passes defended. You're not going to have as many tackles, and you're not going to have as many sacks because you don't give the other team that many opportunities for plays and first downs. If the offense can hold the ball a little bit more, then you're in pretty good shape. Now, I'm saying hold the ball a little bit longer. You say maybe get a 2 or 3 first downs. Even if you don't score, that's keeping your defense off the field. Now, if you score and a team is down down a score or 2, you can almost predict what they're going to do. On 3rd down and long, I know what somebody's going to do if they're down 2 scores. So that means I can blitz. It's not that much of a gamble. It's more of a calculated risk. But I think the Bears could do a little tweaking on the defensive side. Need to focus on the truth of the matter is this. What are you trying to do? Are you trying to appease the fans, or you're trying to actually get better as a team, or you're trying to get better as a team immediately? So
the Bears ain't trying to do either one. They're not trying to do any of that. They are looking at this as a business, straight business. They want to fill seats. They want to keep selling paraphernalia. They ain't necessarily trying to get better. At least it doesn't appear that they are. Well, it doesn't appear that they give a damn what the fans want or what the
Bears are going to sell tickets regardless.
Well, that's all they want. That's all they want is just to sell tickets, fill seats, sell Brian Urlacher jerseys and whoever the fuck else. And that's it. Then they're not worried about putting together a team to actually make a serious Super Bowl run. I mean, why would you get Carson Wentz when Deshaun Watson is still out there, but you're willing to trade away basically the same thing? That doesn't make sense to me.
I wouldn't. Now, if we're comparing apples to apples, I say this. Carson Wentz, Deshaun Watson, not even close. Even if I thought Carson Wentz was a better quarterback, which I do not, Deshaun Watson would do so much for the team's morale and the team's image as far as, I think he could draw more players to want to come to the Bears than Carson Wentz. Now, but let me tell you this. If we're going apples to apples, technically Deshaun Watson is not available yet. So if someone's saying, well, why are you going after this guy? I think you got to be proactive. And if Deshaun Watson is such a slam dunk, which I think he is, I can understand why the Texans are going to play hardball and they're going to get as much as they possibly can and probably drag it out. Now the Bears can't stand still. They got to make a move sooner rather than later.
So we definitely need a quarterback.
Are we jumping in that Bears discussion that we?
Yeah, man, come on, jump on in.
We dodged that last week. Did you all really just like pull that up right now without the actual Bears fan here?
Jump on in.
Will. We know you're not a Bears fan, Will.
We know. I just listen. Hey,
Brother Irv, what's happening?
What's going on, my man?
Good to see you.
I have a serious issue with it's almost like you got a kid wanting something for Christmas and you know that your parents can't afford it, but you can understand the kid because he can't really comprehend that. But all of these football experts and Bears fans, they want Deshaun Watson. I told my wife I want a PS5. They're sold out. They're not selling them right now. I wanted it for my birthday. They're not out yet. How about Christmas? They're sold out. Deshaun Watson is not available right now. We know he will be, but the truth of the matter is, I don't know if you sell the entire farm, even though the farm is a little shaky offensively, because then you won't have anything for him long term. But I think Deshaun Watson is a sexy pick. I don't think anybody else can come close to satisfying Bears fan. And if we had not vilified Mitch Trubisky so much, then I don't think people would have been that bad, because Carson Wentz is like a lateral move.
Actually, so let me backtrack one step.
Okay.
I don't really think the fans vilified Mitch Trubisky as much as management did, because this year, although it was not, to use your words, sexy, they literally were like 3-0 or 4-0 with Mitch as a starter.
Yeah.
So he wasn't doing that bad, but he knew every incompletion, every interception, every 3 and out, he was looking over his shoulder.
Most definitely.
And we've all been in that situation at some point in our life. We've all played sports. That is a horrible feeling, to have to feel like you have to constantly look over your shoulder. That creates performance anxiety and every other situation that you can scenario that you can place in a player's head. But why do we give management a pass when they did this to us in the first place? You draft Mitch Trubisky when you could have drafted Deshaun Watson. Now you're trying to not trade for Deshaun Watson and trade for Carson Wentz when you could literally just wait and say, hey, guys, Deshaun, I'm sorry. We messed up. Here you go. We need you. Sometimes a little humble pie will go a long way. And I think Bears management is really in that conundrum type atmosphere where if you don't do what the people want, no matter what you do, it'll be condemned. Carson Wentz can come in and go 11-5 and win the first round of the playoffs. And Bears fans, Bears faithful, will still say, yeah, but Deshaun probably would have got us to the Super Bowl.
No question.
So how do you win is that, though? Without blowing it up, of which, hell, I ain't seen no championship since 85, same as y'all. Everybody that's a young Bears fan, they don't even know what 85 was unless us old heads tell them about it.
That's funny because I should reference that today.
So right. So it's almost like you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. And I don't want to make it seem like I'm trying to give the Bears brass a pass, because I'm really not. But to allude to what you said, the PS5, everybody didn't get a hold of it. Everybody couldn't get that first shipment. But do you settle for your old PS4? Or do you get a PS4 white, a PS4 Plus, a PS4 Cube? You see what I'm saying? Do you keep replacing what you really want with replicas of the same BS?
No. At some point in time, somebody's going to say, okay, I appreciate the new one, but this isn't that. Like, if we need to make a splash. You know, I mean, I saw it in the movie. The guy said people come to the amusement park. You know, they stand in line for this ride for hours. At the end, it comes down in the water. People want to splash. They want to get wet. We want to splash. And Carson Wentz is not a splash.
I actually think a lot of Bears fans would be like, no, we might as well keep Trubisky because at least we know his head on straight. We don't know where does Wentz even really want to play football? Because showing what he showed last year with all his pouting and crying and carrying on and mental lapses, like, dude might need some help outside of the game, man. That's not the makeup of a starting quarterback that I want for my franchise.
I mean, look at this, man. Russell Wilson and Deshaun Watson involved in trade rumors.
What?
Russell Wilson?
Russell Wilson. I never heard
news break?
I never heard that. I haven't heard that. So
where are you seeing this at? Like, that's on the ESPN or something? Breaking news?
I don't know.
This is breaking news.
Tyree is all over the news. He's all over ESPN and all the networks. So I guess maybe he heard this. I don't know.
You know what?
Here's my thing, guys. I don't know why do, and I'm gonna put me in the category. Because I'm always involved in the conversation. But why are we constantly beating ourselves in the head with the what ifs with the Bears? Like, what if we get this quarterback? What if we get this? We need this quarterback. We need this quarterback. Well, we know the truth is, like we've been stating for weeks, if Bears management doesn't care, they don't care because they are making money still. They're making the dollar. That's what it comes down to them. You understand? It's that dollar. Why would I spend what I would have to spend to go get this quarterback when guess what? All the sales that I need are still going to be up. All my paraphernalia is going to still be going off the shelf. Not in the Chicago only, but around the country. So why should they spend? Why would we expect them to spend the money? It's just not going to happen until some changes are made and for some odd reason, Miss McCaskey decides, hey, you know what? Before I leave this earth, I want to give these fans a Super Bowl, a champion.
Is that a rhetorical question, Will?
Well, we keep.
That's a great question because I'm kind of feeling the same vibe. Like,
because here's the thing. It's a business. Why would they want to do anything different? Because they can make more money if they're winning. If they're selling tickets, that's a clear answer to that. If I'm selling out, and if people got season tickets for years to come, imagine what would happen if we made some legitimate Super Bowl runs.
Well, my thing is it going to be that much of an impact? Because here's the thing.
Give me a little context on that, Will, because if I'm reading where you're going, I would say look at what the Cubs fans did to the Cubs to make them do something.
They start taking things away. You understand? Like, hey,
the Bears fans don't have that power?
Bears fans have the power, but they're not using it. They have the power. Stop going freezing your butts off in October through November, sitting up there in those seats and things of that nature. Stop buying all these jerseys. Every linebacker that comes through Chicago, the jerseys sold out. You understand? It's just like that's just what it comes down to. As long as the franchise, because look, how much more money are we going to make? And then I don't know the numbers, but this is just a thought. How much more money are they going to make in the franchise by the Bears being Super Bowl champions? Because they're going to have to spend a lot of money to get the packages that they did. You understand? In order to get to the point where Chicago fans will be happy. You know, so how many I don't even know.
Wait. Pause, Will. Pause.
Mm-hmm.
Is it about the immediate success or is it just about them attempting this time?
Well, look, if you bring Deshaun Watson in here, you're bringing what should be a franchise quarterback for a while.
You're bringing the optimism of chance is
right.
What you're bringing.
Uh-huh.
You bring, as much as it pains me, you brought Nick Foles in here, who won a Super Bowl. You didn't bring him for long-term sustainability. You brought him to see if you can catch lightning in a bottle twice.
Yep.
That's all you brought him for.
Yep.
We don't have time to continue to wait to see if we can get lightning in a bottle.
Why don't you?
Well, no. As fans, we have until we leave this earth or until we just say we're done with it.
And that's the thing. Bears fans are going to be like that. They're going to, I don't care what it is. Everybody, and then I see every week on Facebook, somebody says, if they do this, I'm done with them. I'm done with them. I can't do it no more. I'm done with them. If they do this, I'm done with them.
A one-person protest. That's a hot one. Hey, can I shift gears real quickly? Willie Rayborn Jr. says this. He says, until the Bears get an O-line, it doesn't make a difference who they put at quarterback. And I see that one of his comments, and I agree with him because they made some significant O-line changes during the Super Bowl due to injuries and things like that for Kansas City, and it made Patrick Mahomes look quite pedestrian.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't have time to set up plays, it doesn't make a difference who you got throwing it or who potentially can be catching it because you just don't have time for things to develop. So an O-line would make a lot of people look a lot better. When we talk about, because I wanted to touch on Willie's point, and he made a very good point. I want to touch on when people talk about the greatest of all-time running backs. You'll hear Walter Payton, you'll hear Jim Brown, you'll hear O.J. Simpson, if it's still okay to say him. But the truth is the truth. Eric Dickerson, Barry Sanders. Oddly enough, it'll take somebody that's just like a numbers guy to say, Emmitt Smith holds the record.
Mm-hmm.
But why is he not considered great? Because he had that line. Anybody could have done that with that line. So what Willie Rayborn was saying is right. If you have an O-line, you push people around. And you can now, don't get me wrong, you just couldn't put anybody behind that line.
No.
Because when he left, Troy Hambrick took over and he looked solid. HBCU guy.
Mm-hmm. I
think Troy went to Savannah State. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he did. And he said, I want to get my turn. I want to get my chance now. Emmett went on to have a limited success at Arizona, but that offensive line made him look a lot better. So Willie Rayborn Jr. he's not very far off the mark when he says minus an O-line, it is not really going to make a difference who we get. But if we pick an O-lineman, he can be a stud. But fans will go nuts. They don't want that.
But with that said, and this is a conversation John and I was having on the other side. Okay, you spend it, you got to realize if you go get a premier tackle or go get or want these tackles, you're gonna have to pay money for them tackles. You're gonna have to pay money for that O-line. Of course, the quarterback gets the big numbers, but right under him is them tackles.
Not as rookies.
Once you get somebody else, so now you're gonna pay a quarterback and a tackle?
Not as rookies.
Well, that's a huge thing, though. How many rookie tackles and offensive linemen totally pan out in the NFL?
How many quarterbacks pan out?
So that's the thing.
Two of the quarterbacks picked, only two of them are still on the same team.
Well, this is true.
Absolutely.
Quarterbacks flame out as well.
But back up to what you just said, because you touched on the most important point. It's not always about going to get that 10-year free agent vet who might be winding down, but it's a name, a la the Bears getting Orlando Pace at the end of his career. It's not about that. But does your scouting department have the eye to draft a solid potential 10 to 15-year dominant left tackle? Let's look at history. Gabe Carimi? Nah. Jamarcus Webb? Hell no. Let's look at the boy from Vanderbilt. I always get his name messed up. It's like Chris Williams or something.
Chris Williams, that's the name.
You drafted him with a bad back. As a lineman, your back is just as important as any part of your body. So at what point do we look at, okay, Bears scouting department or GM/brass, they can't draft quarterbacks. They can't draft wide receivers in the first round.
Well, let's ask this question.
And they can't draft linemen.
What have they drafted that was acceptable?
To me, Kyle Long is about it on the line.
I'm just talking about period recently.
Well, are you talking about any position?
Yeah.
Because I can tell you Kevin White was a bust. I can tell you a couple of people that we done drafted and we like Shea McClellan. Like we just like
A lot of people were bust.
why? But then we've passed on people that were like sure hits.
Well,
And then you get them in between. Like I'm kind of vexed that Leonard Floyd went crazy. Like, did we get rid of him too quick? You know, like I don't know.
is Tariq Cohen, is he legit? Is he a diamond in the rough?
To me, yes. But again, we talking third, fourth round, fifth round. We can do that.
Good hit.
We can do that.
That was a good hit. We shook the dice enough for that.
Well, you know what? Here's what happens. If you're third or fourth round, you really can't be a bust because, you know, we're saying, hey, if this guy pans out, he does. If he doesn't, okay. You know, but
He was third round anyway.
Yeah, you're right. The truth of the matter is, we're from Chicago, so we see it, and the ones of us that are from Chicago that have sense, we're Bears fans. So
That's fired.
so we're going to be a little hard on ourselves. But the truth of the matter is, we kind of forget that the Cleveland Browns, when we picked Mitch Trubisky, they thought they struck gold with DeShone Kizer. I don't know where he is now.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Hold on. There are only 2 quarterbacks in the NFL that were drafted that year that have had more success than Mitch Trubisky. So no, the Bears didn't do it. And if you want to look at it in real time, this has always been my assertion that the so-called experts and the scouts, for whatever reason, had Mitch Trubisky rated higher. And I think that comes from some guys wanting to be the smartest guy in the room and want to say, hey, you know, you didn't even know about this guy until I put you up on him. And the Bears, they bought what they were selling.
It's Black History Month, right, Irv?
Say again?
It's Black History Month, right?
Yeah, most definitely.
What is Black History Month to us? Anything and everything black is positive, right?
Yeah.
At one point in time, we were sold a dream too.
Yes.
When we going to break the cycle? Because clearly that man playing that little 11, 13 games where he was barely getting the ball, like you can say what you want, but I know a lot of people throw the ball 50 yards in the air that ain't football players.
He started 13 games. He played in, I think, 34. So, but
I wasn't sold, brother.
The truth is, he looked lock, stock, and barrel when he was tuning up Illinois. He might have thrown for half his yards in that game.
Probably.
but here's the thing: in real time, that wasn't as bad of a pick as people want to make. Now we can always, the revisionist history says, hey, this guy didn't pan out. Okay, there's no question about that. No question whatsoever. But every year you have guys that don't pan out. Everybody has somebody on their roster that didn't work out. Now, I think Anthony Miller had an opportunity to be a solid pick for the Bears. I think Darnell Mooney, wow. We kind of that. Listen, the expectations were low, so anything this guy did was looked at a little bit more, optimistically. And it's like, hey, this guy's okay. That's what Tyree Holland said. Darnell Mooney, 5th pick, 5th round, man, and he looks like legitimately looks like he's doing what they thought Anthony Miller would do.
So I hate to do this.
Team is terrible. That's what they're saying in the comments. They're trying to find a diamond in the rough.
So I think they did find the diamond in the rough with that because when you look and all we can go off of right now, because we're not at Hallis Hall, so we can go off of the eye test and we can go off of sheer numbers and production. The eye test, like Mooney got a little Tyreek Hill in him, man. He does. And that's a good thing for us to have when we don't have that vertical stretch game that we look for. We don't really have the consistent play action game that the Rams had. Like the Bears are still kind of like offensively like a hodgepodge offense. We may never see that playbook. We know AR is a definite number one. We know somewhere between Miller and Williams, we got a solid number two, depending on the week. We know for sure Mooney can take that slot position and maybe even elevate to the two and blow the roof off. We still don't know what we got in Calvin Ridley.
Indeed.
So it's a lot of guys. I go back and I tell you about a guy by the name of Marty Booker, and we was like, who is this dude? But year after year, 100 catches, 100 catches, 100 catches, 100 catches. Hands
he was consistent. Very consistent.
His work, and it was like, man, let Marty cook. But the Bears will find that guy. They just never find the Julio. They never find the DeAndre Hopkins. You know what I'm saying? Running back wise, I love Matt Forte. I was a Matt Forte guy. Second round pick out of Tulsa. But besides that,
Tulane.
When is the last time like we really made that offensive splash draft-wise? We may get a free agent here and there, like I said, normally tailing at the end of his career. But it's almost like, man, let me just go to the Bears and get this money. It's not like, let me go to the Bears because they got something brewing and I want to be a part of it.
No, well, let me say this. Let me say this. And I want to say this. I'm reading the comments, and I agree with a lot of them. I agree with a lot of them because we know what we know now. The Bears scout team is terrible. I'm sure he's talking about the people that
yeah, not the scout players. I think he's talking about the scouting department.
The scouting department. But here's what happens. And I'm sure he's not on a laptop. I'm sure he has a smartphone in his hand. Willie Rayborn Jr. Google pre-draft scouting report for quarterbacks in 2017, and 4 out of the 5 lists, if you don't see Mitch Trubisky at number 1, you'll see him. He'll be 1, 2, or 3. So with that being said, the Bears weren't trying to find a diamond in the rough then. They were really trying to bet on a sure thing. Now, why all of a sudden this guy's stock shot up so far and he turned out to be more Ryan Leaf than Peyton Manning? And Ryan Leaf, that's a little rough.
That's rough.
That's real rough.
That's foul.
Ryan Leaf was terrible.
That was not his first
don't
year.
y'all show Mitch no. Oh, now y'all want to show Mitch compassion, huh?
Wait a minute.
No, it's not about compassion. But he ain't as bad as Ryan Leaf.
Right.
How about Rick Meyer? How about Rick Meyer?
That's bad. That's bad. Rick Meyer is bad.
Because these guys came in and they were heavily touted, and then they didn't pan out. The Bears weren't trying to be the smartest guy in the room there. They said, hey, a lot of these prognosticators were saying, hey, Trubisky's the number 1 guy in the draft. We know he hasn't played a lot, but what we really believe. So the Bears, they bought those magic beans. They bought them. They said, hey, we're going to get this guy. And when they got him, and listen, well, he was an alternate. There's a lot of people that weren't Pro Bowl alternates. That was the defense. There was a lot of people that didn't have that defense.
Correct.
So the truth of the matter is, we did see glimpses, but this isn't your dad's NFL. Nobody's going to sit 2 and 3 years. You may sit a year or 2 if you're behind a deeply entrenched starter or a Hall of Famer that may be flaming out. Other than that, you're going to play that first year, and if you play well, you're going to move. They're going to move you right in. I'm seeing this. People are getting rid of their first round draft pick quarterback when the coach is going like, hey, I didn't like this guy anyway.
Right.
That almost gives him a green light.
Right.
That Kyler Murray deal blew my mind.
I feel the exact same way. But there's something to be said about a sure thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, Mitch might have been a hot, sexy pick up and coming. Kind of like, I hate to cross sports because sometimes that's just really dumb. A lot of people were mad that the Bulls picked Patrick Williams, right? Mm-hmm. But Patrick Williams could be that, man, I don't know. I see a lot of upside. I see a lot of blah, 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 whatever. But we don't know if he's a sure thing. Coming out of college, we kind of knew Deshaun was a sure thing just for the sheer fact about the 2 national titles. And hell, nobody beats Alabama. But guess who beat Alabama? Deshaun Watson. And beat them handily and showed the poise and the confidence to come back on Alabama.
Come back.
So that guy that you've been clamoring for to be the face of the franchise, Bears need a quarterback, Bears need a quarterback, Bears need a quarterback. You had that guy. Now, unless you watched college football like some of us, because I ain't got a life on Saturdays, I watched Patrick Mahomes go 6 and 8 that year and threw for 5,000 yards and 40 touchdowns. But it wasn't nobody really checking for Patrick Mahomes, but I was like, hey, you want somebody that can throw the yard, this your guy. Nobody was looking at Mitch. We're looking at North Carolina football like, okay, that's the only game that's on, so I'm going to watch it. We wasn't turning on to say, let me see what this Mitch Trubisky guy is about.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. But
You
hey,
know what? You know what?
And Irv, you watch football a lot. We talk.
Yeah, I'm not a huge college fan, but I do watch football, and I do this. I learned this word in college. Deference. I'll defer if somebody's an expert and you've been doing it. On your worst day, you may be better than me at doing what you're an expert at on my best day. So if the experts say we're going to go with it, if I'm a businessman, if I'm an NFL player, if I'm a millionaire, if I hit the lottery, I'm the one with $100 million, but you're the financial expert. I'm going to defer to your expertise.
Absolutely.
So that's what the Bears did. It just didn't pan out. And now we want to make him seem like, but the butcher, the baker, or the candlestick maker could have picked a better choice. Now,
almost, but let me hit me to a side. Let's think another way.
last point.
I'm sorry. If Warren Buffett tells you to pick this stock, I'm going to do what Warren Buffett say. You know what Warren Buffett doesn't do? He doesn't take risks. He looks at his analysis. He does over 8 hours of reading today. I read his file. Mm-hmm. And he's going to pick the stock that he knows is a sure thing.
Mm-hmm.
So any NFL analyst that'll tell you, or expert, whoever, that upside trumps a sure thing, that person I have to bring into question, because the sure thing is this. We know Deshaun Watson is a winner in college. We have no idea what Mitch Trubisky is because he ain't played enough.
Let's
face it, he's not Kyrie Irving, where he played 10 games and set the world on fire. He's not.
Right.
He wasn't. And we see that now in hindsight. But moving forward, I digress. We have a chance to make it right. And in this situation, I'm sorry for my other fans out there, white is not always right. And in this situation, the Bears have a great chance to right some much needed, some much malicious wrongs.
All right. Well,
I agree with the and
let's switch gears for 1 second.
Sure thing.
I want to bring in our guy Emilio. We're gonna talk about his new project, what he's working on. He actually started a couple weeks ago. He was playing some nice Chicago tunes. He's on Twitch, but let me bring him in. He can talk about it. Mr. Emilio, can you hear us?
We can't hear him.
I think your mic is off.
Mm-mm. You might want to come back to him, T.
Okay, well, we can get back to that little.
Let's not get back to that. Let's go to something else. Let's talk about. There's so much other things happening in the world.
You want to talk about? You're just saying that because you're not a Bears fan, so you don't want to talk about
the same thing over and over and over and over. God, give us a quarterback. And let's see if we can win.
What does Will want to talk about?
Let's talk about the Super Bowl. Why don't we talk about the Super Bowl?
We did talk about the Super Bowl.
You cut us off.
I agree with you.
I hear y'all going down that dark rabbit hole about.
So now
there we go.
He talked to Mr. Emilio instead of talking about the
I don't even know why y'all are putting yourselves through that ringer. Coulda, shoulda, woulda. You know why they didn't draft Watson or Mahomes. You know what time it is.
We do not know what time it is.
Yeah, we already know. You know, Irv. You wearing that Tuskegee shirt. You know.
This is old white people money. They wanted a face to their very old established white family business. And so they went with what they thought was good enough at quarterback, and if he panned out, he would have been $1 million man. You know what I mean? I heard y'all talking about, these are business people. Like, well, these are business people. You know what I mean? Like, they think about all of that, not just football. They're thinking about the image and how they want their franchise perceived. And, it's unfortunate that they don't always go for the best player available, because the Bears are big on that character. It's like, oh well,
is there something wrong with Deshaun Watson's character? Did we miss something besides the color of his skin?
No, well, in that case, that's what it is.
So they're looking at him as he is a character, not the character that the man possesses.
Well, okay, if that's how you want to put it, then
You know what? I've got to say this, because I want to be straight as I possibly can be. I went for a ride on the lake earlier this summer, and I saw, when I stopped by Soldier Field, there are two statues outside. One of them is from the owner, former coach
Hallis.
And the other one is a black guy who didn't go to a huge school, a black guy who had no character issues, a black guy who was drafted in the first round, and he actually did a very good job. So I don't necessarily know in 2021, when people's jobs and careers and images, I think the most detrimental thing to anybody's brand right now in this climate is being insensitive racially, gender, sexual orientation. So to just recklessly say, hey man, it was race. One, I think that's just a waste of the race card. Sports seems to be, that's what I love about sports, is the purity. Like, even if I don't like this guy as a person, I'll put up with him on my team because he can play. If you ever, and I mean ever, see a team get rid of top-notch talent, I guarantee you there is something that people cannot deal with. I mean, personality-wise, character-wise, or they know something that's going on. So,
can you give me an example? Because I have a contradictory example.
DeAndre Hopkins.
Perfect example. But I have a contradictory example.
You don't get rid of that type of talent. You don't get rid of that type of talent. And let me tell you this, and I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I've just been around situations that are nothing like the NFL, but I'll tell you this. If he was a likable guy, if he was something outside of what they said, they said some very petty things, some trivial things. But let me tell you this.
Well,
there's no way in the world that I don't run that by my quarterback. If his number one target, arguably the number one target in the league, hey, we can't deal with this guy. He's got to go. What do you think? Hey, that's your decision. I don't have anything to do with it.
I think Deshaun Watkins' whole thing was this. He didn't get along with the coach,
Bill O'Brien.
With Bill O'Brien, okay? And so Bill O'Brien is kind of like this. Like if we don't know what he was doing in there, DeAndre Hopkins. We don't know what the relationship was with them behind closed doors and everything, you know, he could have been really given to the business and could have really been honest to the point where his honesty was so honest that it was attacking Bill O'Brien. Bill O'Brien made the decisions at that point. You understand? And so Bill O'Brien cut, and that might be what's happening with Deshaun Watson. Like, look, you guys didn't have enough backbone to stand up to Bill O'Brien to get about getting rid of this dude. So what makes me think that you guys are going to build it around me?
But remember, we said questionable character.
Well, Bill O'Brien created the questions in his character.
So something, let's say something behind closed doors, which could have been like something to the lines of, man, coach, you don't know what you're talking about, something. Who you think you're talking to? I'm a grown man, blah, 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 blah. When we speak to character, we're speaking of, do I turn on the news and I see this dude on breaking news talking about he done stabbed somebody, or he in the club making it rain and womanizing and all kind of stuff? That's when we speak to character, which where I said I had a contradictory point. Terrell Owens, one of the most passionate players I've ever seen. Character, where? Never arrested, never in trouble, never caught in any scandals that I ever heard of. So what is it about the black athlete in certain areas where they actually speak their mind to where they're ousted?
Well, it's just, I don't know if we want to put it down on the black athlete, you know, because
you have to.
I don't know. I don't know you want to say that because listen, let me tell you like this. Is it the black athlete or is the most vocal athlete? You understand? Because a lot of these guys that we're comparing to, they were very vocal enough to be detrimental to their own to their own situation.
But they were vocal to their people. It's not like they ran to social media and start spouting off at the mouth like a Odell.
Listen,
or a Baker. No.
Look at this. DeAndre Hopkins could have quite easily been in there like, look, man, we got this. We got this on defense. We got this on defense. We got this on defense. And you can't win. Probably to his face in front of the whole team.
Or told him he can't coach. You're right.
Locker room. But wait a minute. Here's the thing, though. Wait a minute. How you going to tell me that? You understand? And I'm the puppet master behind this whole thing. If you let it out that I can't win, guess who's out of a job? So one of us got to go.
And I agree, but check it out. Let me bring up Jimmy Johnson. See if y'all remember this. Michael Irvin was partying.
Oh, Michael was doing this, and I was going to go the same route.
But no matter what, hey, Mike, just calm down. We're going to bail you out. But on Sunday, Mike is a dog.
But what's the greatest Band-Aid in sports?
Winning.
There it is.
So, okay.
Definitely.
Not apples to apples comparison, but apples to oranges is still fruit.
Right.
Something on the super negative side.
That was clever.
Thank you. I had a lot of them. What Ray Rice was convicted of in the court of public opinion was very heinous. We heard about Ray Rice for at least a month, correct?
Yes.
At least.
Yes.
To the point where he couldn't even get another job if he wanted to, or could even publicize him getting some help from the team. Everybody just did this with Ray Rice. Bye. We just had a dude 2 weeks ago that admittedly tried to kill a black woman, and we ain't heard about that since last week.
I don't know about that. I've heard about it a couple of times and I see that a lot. Maybe it's not been broadcast as much as it should be. I agree, but everyone's saying that it's not being said, and I've heard quite a few people on sports channels speak out about that.
I've heard it when it first happened, maybe that first 3-4 days. Ray Rice there was a segment back in the day. If you watch ESPN, because you always know it rolls over and over and over and over.
Right.
There was not a time when Ray Rice wasn't up there. There was not a time when film footage or somebody speaking out or somebody protesting was not up on Ray Rice. But yet this dude says, I have mental health issues. Oh, we're going to get him some help. He's different.
Well, you know what? I'm very empathetic to people that have mental issues, and
as am I.
I'm very empathetic to that. But also, there is something that is key. And don't get me wrong, I think race plays a huge part in this perception. But this is what also plays a huge part. Ray Rice was caught on tape. There was a video. Had there been a video
on tape?
Yep. Had that been had everybody's if everybody's transgressions are caught on tape, then people will see it differently. If you see something, if you see it, there's no unseeing it. That's a bell you can't unring. So it's kind of like you have the benefit of. Let me tell you this: if Ray Rice is not, if that tape never gets exposed, that security footage never gets exposed, he may play again. However, and I don't know why people don't like this, because
let's also take in point real quick, because I know we got to move on. That Ray Rice's was not exposed by the NFL on tape. Ray Rice was exposed by one of these TMZ outlets, the TMZs of the world. I'm not sure if it was TMZ.
Tabloid.
Right, tabloid. So it's like, a lot of times, there's probably a whole lot that's covered up in the NFL or any other sport.
We know it is. Like that's not even a question. But here's my point, Irv. You hit the nail on the head when you said there was video. As a man standing here, each four of us, we looked at that video and was like, "Oh, dang." One hit, right? But we looked at the still pictures of this woman, black-eyed, broken orbital bone, hand marks around her neck, a still photo, and I cringed way more looking at that still photo of this woman than I did seeing Ray uppercut his girlfriend. I'm just being honest with you. Both of them are really, really messed up. But seeing that woman's face, I was like, yee.
Yeah, that was.
I wouldn't want to see no video of that, man.
No.
Hey, speaking of fighting, I felt like this was a good time for me to jump in. Talk about next week. We're gonna have a fighter, a boxer. Montel Griffin is coming on.
The champ
next week.
Yes, the champ.
Yeah. But before we end the show, we gonna do this top 5 real quick for Black History Month. Our top 5 black shows. Go ahead and start with you, J.I. And don't say Homeboys from Outer Space, man.
Okay. Hold on. Let me reorder my list then. All right.
No Malcolm and Eddie.
In no particular order.
Wait a minute. What's wrong with Malcolm and Eddie? Go ahead. But go ahead.
Man.
Wait a minute. These are my favorites, right?
You're right. My bad.
Hold on. Malcolm Eddie not on it. These are in no order, no particular order. Blackish, Rock, Good Times, The Jeffersons, and A Different World.
Hold up. Where's Martin at?
Martin, I have 10, but Martin didn't. Martin didn't crack the top 5.
Martin did crack the top 5.
I was really struggling with another show. I don't want to name it because I know one of you guys are, because it was a different type of black show. But I said, man, do I put this in? But I said Different World has to go in because it was just so. It was pivotal for me.
Okay.
JB, what you got, man?
I would say in no particular order, but my number 1, I'm sorry, is A Different World. That was my show. Like that did it for me. But my next 4 shows, y'all gonna feel a certain kind of way. I'm just gonna tell you now. I love Sanford and Son. I grew up in the house with Red Fox. Like, Red Fox was on my TV daily. You know what I'm saying? We had the albums where he was, on his comedy show.
That is
so I love, that's 2. 3 for me, 3 and 4 are actually animated. I love The Boondocks and I love Afro Samurai with Samuel L. Jackson. So, my favorite, I told you it's gonna be a little different.
Okay.
And one of the shows that I really liked as a kid, you all may or may not remember, I like Charlie and Company with Gladys Knight and Flip Wilson.
Oh, I remember that.
And Steve Urkel was like the little 4-year-old boy.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, I used to like Charlie and Company. Gladys Knight fan, but you know, I used to like that show for some reason. CBS.
Wow,
I remember that. Yep. Okay. Big Will.
Okay. My number one.
Family Matters.
It almost made the list. It almost made the list. Seriously. I appreciate I should say number one. No order. Bernie Mac. I like the Mac show. I also like Martin. I don't know how Martin didn't get in the top 5 for John. Okay. Good Times. Sanford and Son. And see, and this is where it really was. I'm gonna add Blackish, but I want to go back to and I can't even think of the name of right now. The one that the creator of Blackish was just in. God bless Mary. Come on, one of y'all.
Black AF.
Black AF. Yeah, exactly. So that's one of my favorites because I really appreciated how he stood up to society and did what he wanted to do throughout the whole show.
You know what? I think being Black History Month, I think Kenya is a Clark alum, Clark Atlanta alum. I'm pretty sure he is.
Well, okay. Black Atlanta. Okay.
T, what's yours?
All right. Well, you know my number one already. I gave it away. My number one is Martin. Martin was hilarious. I made sure I watched that every what day did it come on? Every Thursday night.
Thursday.
I made sure I watched that. So that's my number one. Then of course the Cosby Show. Everybody loved the Cosby Show, man. I mean, Bill Cosby.
It is what it was. It is what it is.
But yeah, the Cosby Show. A Different World, Good Times. And then this last one, man, was kind of a toss-up for me. It was between Sanford and Son, and do you remember this show called That's My Mama?
I remember That's My Mama.
Vaguely. I was like 2.
They showed the reruns on Channel 66. Remember Channel 66 a long time ago? I made sure I was up at 11 o'clock at night to watch that. Man,
man. Now I really feel bad. T.
Clifton Davis, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Clifton Davis and Ted Lange, and he say, "Ooh," and I got to report or something. Like that. I got it.
Can I give y'all an honorable mention? But I didn't count this as a TV show, so to speak. I think we all agree.
Go ahead.
How did we not say In Living Color?
That was what I was gonna say.
Hey, that's what I wanted to say it too, but I was like,
it wasn't a scripted. Like
that really black?
It wasn't really
black. What was it?
I mean, man, you had
it was a sketch.
Kelly Cofield.
They call it sketch.
That was
Keenan Ivory Wayans. That's what it was.
It was a sketch comedy show. It wasn't a sitcom.
It was Keenan Ivory Wayans. That's what it was.
I know that.
Who was the producer? Who show was that?
Keenan Ivory Wayans.
Okay, so then Scandal.
From Tuskegee University.
Is that black? Is that black?
Is that black?
Shonda Rhimes wrote Scandal, so is that black?
Wait a minute. But it was listen, as many people as Keenan Ivory Wayans put on, these guys, of course, there was no question. The Fly Girl Dancer. First seeing Jennifer Lopez. Sparked Jim Carrey's career. Tommy Davis, and probably the most underrated comic of all time.
Jamie Foxx.
Jamie Foxx. If these guys came back and just had the original cast, each one of these people have 3 and 4 million fans that could come to the show and bring it on. I mean, but the truth is, it would be hard to bring a show like that back because everybody that was on the show is doing so well now. They can be like, you know what, we're good. So it's none of that. Hey, let's get the band back together.
But even if they did do a reunion show, kind of like like the night Eddie Murphy came back to Saturday Night Live.
Yes.
Just if they did like a reunion show, like I bet you everybody would tune in.
John, John, you were 100% right. That's the reason. That's the reason I didn't say it, because I was like, I was struggling.
Hey, hey, Willie Rayborn said, "What about What's Happening?"
Yeah, we missed What's Happening.
We missed that one
because
we didn't miss it, but we stayed on top 5. Like it's in there. It's in there.
Yeah, so
it's in there.
Hey guys, I got to
rerun with this.
Okay, Will. Hey, you know what, Willie Rayborn? Hey, we got to get this guy on here. He said Pittsburgh got rid of AB, and we all thought they were crazy. I didn't, because AB was. I saw some things, and because this is just my philosophy. When you get rid of that type of talent, you're being diplomatic, because I don't want to go to a team that gets rid of somebody and they say this guy was a bum and let all his secrets out. You were hiding them. Let's not expose it now. And I mean, there's just a certain amount of diplomacy and political, omission that you have to have. So
when your distractions start to outweigh your production, that's their out.
There's no question. And what happened was they were willing to keep him even with the Raiders, but he didn't really want to be there. So he pretty much got his way out of there. And then when they found out New England says this, oh, we were definitely winning without you, but you coming here stacking the deck. But then when you do something a little out of the way and you have these charges, we can let you go. We were winning before you got here. You wanted to be here more than we really wanted you. We were just trying to get 4 aces. We're good. They got rid of him. And because he was a little bit more like you, what did you say, John? That humble pie?
Yes.
I think he came to Tampa Bay with his second, his second collaboration with Tom Brady. And he said, hey, you know what? I am an integral piece of the puzzle. And if I can slip under the radar and hey, I'm gonna make some noise. And I'm happy for him. I think because we have a way of piling on people and really vilifying them for being human. We've all made, kind of mistakes like that. And Shannon Sharp said it before. Savannah State's very own Shannon Sharp said it. He said, pro athletes should be held to a high standard, but maybe not higher than doctors and lawyers and politicians or whatever. If a pro athlete does something, he can never work again. But the postman slaps his wife, and you won't miss your mail.
You sure won't. No.
So and you won't even ask to. You'll be like, hey, what did she do? So you might not see me again. It'll be me too on here. But the truth is, I think that you should be held to a standard, but it has to be reasonable. I am not a big fan of. I am not a fan at all of cancel culture. I think because we haven't seen when the other shoe drops, the people that the disenfranchised and the marginalized, once that other shoe drops, will be the ones that kind of get, canceled ultimately. Right now, we can ride and everybody that looks at us cross-eyed, let's cancel them. Everybody that says the wrong pronoun, let's cancel them. Everyone who, frowns at the WNBA, let's cancel them. But then when everything, you're going to get canceled. You don't laugh at that. But you got to kind of, you have to sit back and say, hey, we have the power now. Ain't no fun when the rabbit got the gun.
It's not, but when you have when they have a scorched earth tour and nothing's left, we gonna be left to pick up the pieces.
You know what? Hey, John. Hey, excellent, brother. I couldn't agree with you more on that. The scorched when you
scorched earth.
And you know what? And that's what a lot of guys do. It's no coming back from that.
Right.
No coming back from it. But hey, we got to get on up out of here, man. But look forward to next week. John, your son is gonna be on, right?
Yes, I told him it'll be next Tuesday. That is that the 17th or the 16th?
The 16th.
That's the 16th.
16th. Yeah. As of right now, they don't have a game on the 16th. I'll keep you updated as he gets updated, because with COVID and everything, the games change. Like he had a game today at 5:00 that was scheduled for Sunday. So
Okay. Well,
but he's definitely interested and definitely would keep you posted.
Okay. And Will's goddaughter, she's gonna come on. She's like a sports writer for HBCUs or something like that, JI.
Yes.
Okay. So yeah, those two are gonna be on, and then like I said before, Montel Griffin, he's gonna be on, talk about his book, Ice Life. So Ice Life, yeah.
Montel Ice Griffin. Big fan, super big fan of mine. I'm
interested because boxing. I'm sorry, we done lost a lot of fans to that MMA, but I'm a purist. Give me the sweet science.
No question. I absolutely love it. I want to get back to seeing boxers box boxers.
Man.
That is a great point, and I want to make sure that we talk about that with Montel. Boxers boxing boxers, not boxing ex-basketball stars or YouTubers. I don't want to see that. I want to see boxers fight boxers like he fought Roy Jones Jr. Boxers against boxers.
Hey, please do this. If we don't, I got to give a shout out to our number one commenter, Willie Rayburn. He was clarifying what he said about Pittsburgh and AB. I think I got that. But if you get a chance, you can go on YouTube, look at that first Montel Griffin, Roy Jones Jr. fight. Now, everybody, just look at it and you'll see, like, man, I've been sleeping on this guy. I've seen Montel. I've seen his videos. I've seen him at Taylor Park. His daughter is an excellent basketball player. We get to ask him a little bit about that, man. We have local talent here. He is a huge supporter of the culture, the community. I can't wait. I can't wait to talk to the champ.
It's gonna be a good time, man.
And you know what, T?
Yeah.
Do me one favor. If we don't get to a chance us four to wrap before then, with like a little itinerary, I gotta know, where does a professional boxer rank this heavyweight division now? Because it's looking like just one or two people. We grew up with that heavyweight division and that middleweight division being our everything.
Yeah,
Leonard, Hagler, Duran.
Yeah, you can take your pick.
Now it's like we got Canelo and like Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury, and now it's like
that's it.
Nah.
Tyson Fury's fat ass. Oh my God, we got him. Come on, that's like Jerry Cooney. Remember Jerry Cooney?
No, I wouldn't say that because I don't remember Jerry Cooney ever winning the belt and knocking out the champ.
He was the, if I'm not mistaken, Jerry Cooney was our generation's modern day great white height.
Oh, most definitely.
Yes.
But
Tyson Fury is
I mean, he could throw them things, but I mean, does Tyson Fury make you want to go pay $88 on pay-per-view?
Absolutely fucking
like
not.
No.
Absolutely not.
You know what?
Like Tyson did.
Definitely.
Roy Jones did.
Yep.
You follow me?
Yeah.
Tyson
Fury doesn't pass the eye test.
There it is. So I'm definitely interested in that because, whoo.
Yeah, that should be a good time, man. I think maybe Dion had technical issues or something like that, or I don't know what it was, but well, maybe we can get him on at a later time. I don't know.
Most definitely. Hope everything's good with him.
Yeah, I'll holler at him later. But anyway, hey, for JB, the Bulls Insider, JI, I'm T Nick. We out. See you next week. Peace.